What are we celebrating? What are we celebrating is the question I keep asking every year that Nigeria celebrates the anniversary of our political independence. I asked this question each time other African countries celebrate the same anniversary. They have not been able to define the reason for the celebration of the anniversary of political independence from their various colonial masters. This is in the sense that whatever anyone is celebrating does not really matter in life. But the reason behind the celebration should be the yardstick to determine the essentiality of the celebration. This is what many African countries and leaders have not really taken their time to examine. Africans are counting and celebrating years of securing political independence without any significant proof of achievement. Many Africans feel that their colonial masters did not want them to live and govern themselves the way they wanted to. Now, the colonial masters have taken their hands off the African affairs. So it seems by the celebration of political independence, and left Africa to fashion out a plan and be governed by Africans themselves. As a matter of reality, Africans have shown their colonial masters the reason they wanted to be sovereign is to oppress their fellow citizens, kill and destroy public infrastructure, imprison people indiscriminately, and drastically loot their nation's treasury. Therefore, fellow Africans, what then are we celebrating as a continent? Are we celebrating a collective underdevelopment and virtually stagnant economies since the independence of our various nations? Are we celebrating the numbers of graduates roaming about the streets of our nations without jobs? Fellow Africans, are we celebrating inaccessibility to bank loans as to enable our people to start viable and small-scale businesses? Are we celebrating the numbers of children that are perishing every year due to corruption and negligence on the part of the government? Are we celebrating the numbers of mothers and children that die at childbirth daily from avoidable causes due to poor medical facilities? Fellow Africans, are we celebrating the numbers of old men and women retirees that are dying of starvation and hunger after many years of serving their various nations? Many of those retirees die in the process of waiting to collect their gratuity, while those that have access to the nation's treasury are embezzling the money big time. The blood of these retirees will be required from them. Are we celebrating the rate of damages we have been able to inflict on our nation's psyche? Are we celebrating the uncertain future of the coming generations of Africans? Are we celebrating the rates of our individual, social, and governmental failure? Fellow Africans, are we celebrating scarcity in the midst of our abundant God-given natural resources? Fellow Africans, why then are we celebrating political independence anniversary? I agree that we should thank God for freedom from slavery and for protecting us. This alone is worth celebrating, but we need much more than existing. We should aspire to live with impact, fulfillment, self-actualization, and nation building. We should make use of our natural endowment from God. It is high time we stop putting blames on others as being the brain behind our misfortunes. Some of us say in our private discussions that the Westerners instigate African nations against each other, and that they also sell weapons to factional parties in exchange for resources or cash. Does it mean that Africans do not have a mind of their own to discern between evil and good? Even if some people try to cause division among us, we should be able to resist them and their divide to rule strategy, which I term divide to get what they wanted strategy. This is a strong reason for us to have a common voice against which no one can prevail. Actually, no nation can exist without support from another, but not to the extent that one nation should be the one determining what obtains in another. Those people that are encouraging African leaders to steal the people's money and to take it abroad are not to be blamed. But some of our leaders in different categories are already willing to steal. An event happened some time ago about a governor in the Nigerian's all-rich Bayelsa state, where the governor took some millions of pounds sterling into the United Kingdom, but the immigration officers discovered him at the airport. They arrested the governor, and after a while, we heard that the governor, disguised as a woman, beat the very tight security apparatus and escaped from the United Kingdom back to Nigeria. The money he took to the United Kingdom did not escape from the United Kingdom authority. This is just one of several cases. What madness is more than this? When people have not gotten enough, yet some people are taking the little on ground abroad. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission under Malam Nuhu Rubadu did a good job in this direction by bringing some people to justice. Had it been that the governor is a terrorist, I strongly believed that he would not be able to escape from the United Kingdom authority. But the numbers of people that are dying because of stolen nations' wealth are more than that of the terrorist attack. Africans, wake up. In a book I read, the author wrote about a certain white man whom she met in the flight in one of our trips abroad. This white man said so many horrible things about Nigeria, as if he was never going to come back again. Fortunately, the writer met the same man in another flight a long time after they met for the first time. It means that the white man does not like us as a people. All he liked is the honey and not the pot of honey. Nevertheless, he cannot get the honey without getting close to the pot of honey. It means that he does not like our system and our society, but the opportunities that obtain in our nation. I am not surprised that the white man does not have value for us as a people, because some of us did not have value for ourselves. He does not like our nation because we made it unlikable. He said horrible things about our nation because we made it look horrible. A friend sent me an email which reads thus: Do Nigeria exercise a true democracy? Is our country mature enough for political independence, or should we invite our colonial masters to force some senses into us? There was an attached video of an event where men of Nigerian Navy beat a woman mercilessly simply because her car was in the way of their boss's car. This incident happened in Lagos in November 2008. The matter became a nationally celebrated matter of human rights defense. The sender of the email asked, "Is this democracy?" She further implores those who can do one thing or the other about it to bring the culprit to book by being caught, martialed, and dismissed from the Nigerian Navy. Can you see how oppression and injustice has become a tradition in our society? Is this the reason why we ask for political independence? Is it so that we can have the free chance to demonstrate inhuman attitude towards ourselves? The true meaning of democracy in Africa is the government of the people, by the people to oppress, cheat, and steal the people's wealth, and so on. Now, is it the Westerners that told those naval officers, led by one Arogundade, to beat that hapless woman? They stripped her naked using guns bought with our tax money. This is something that does not and can hardly happen in Western countries. How then do we expect the Westerners or outsiders to treat us with value when we ourselves do not treat ourselves with value? Fellow Africans, why then are we celebrating political independence anniversary? Political independence anniversary can only be worth celebrating only if we can show our colonial masters the true dividends of independent continent. For how long will we continue to live under the atmosphere of injustice, oppression, and bad leadership, torture, and fear? It is high time we come together and pass across our memorandum for change in every facet of our system. Now is the time to put a stop to the dehumanizing practices in our system. The damages we have done to our continent are enough. I'm hereby pleading to us as a continent, individuals, and as a nation to turn a new leaf and put on the true spirit of patriotism. Let the police do their job with dignity. Let the warders stop the inhuman treatment of the inmates. Let a stop come to various abuses in our institutions of learning. Let the court boys and girls resist evil drive and embrace good for the good of themselves, their continent, and the future to which they belong. Let the court boys and girls channel their strength and courage towards transformation and nation building, and not towards oppression and destruction. Let our lecturers be reasonable and stop various abuses and oppression in our institutions of learning. Let our justice department be reasonable in their services, having it in mind that someone up there, God, the judge of all, will bring them to justice someday. Let our civil servants be civil servants and not saboteurs. Let our military men stop using their profession as a means of demonstrating human conduct. Let our pastors and imams return back to the drawing board. Let our politicians be polite and stop looting. Let every militant group renounce violence and embrace dialogue in the interest of their nation, a place they can call their own, and in the interest of their fellow citizens and the generations to come. I charge all Africans at home and abroad to stand up and say enough is enough. We must stand up so that our people and the generations to come can feel safe on the streets and in their various institutions of learning. Most Africans abroad have decided to stay permanently there and not bother to return home. Even they feel unaccepted, but at least feel safe. Let us start celebrating change that brings hope, the kind of change that will portray a new Africa, such as will guarantee the future of the coming generations of Africa. You and I can be opposed of this change. We should aspire to change as individuals and get more people to share our vision.